So the way I started in the industry, it started when I was 7 years old. I was in a hospital as a kid. I had what's called septicemia, which is a severe blood infection. And during that time period, the only way that I could truly feel normal was through reading comic books.
Okay.
So I fell in love with a comic book character named Lucius Fox. He was a black man that developed all the gadgets for Batman. And growing up in Chicago, we didn't have real superheroes, but we had Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And Michael became, to me, my version of Batman. And so I wrote letters to Nike. I created my own designs. I would send them in, and eventually it led to me being Nike's first black intern for design at the age of 19. So it was a tremendous blessing. And during that time period, I was there for 14 years. Went to grad school at Stanford in between, and I left when my son had gotten sick, unfortunately, also around the age of 7. And I decided that I spent a lot of time trying to fix broken adults in the health and wellness industry, and I wanted to build stronger kids. And so went back to Stanford, started to research several different areas and industries that may help me to help my son and others. And then realized that footwear, apparel, narratives, play experiences, they're forms of medication if you think about it. Like play is a form of prevention. It is a medicinal thing. If you go out and you play, you feel better, you feel more confident, you feel more connected to your community. And so what we just started to do for our own kid became a popular amongst our peer group. And then eventually people encouraged me to turn it into an entire company. And so 3 years later, Super Heroic is here, and we've collaborated with Nerf, and now we're on our way to doing bigger things.
I thought it was cool, like Nerf. I remember growing up with that too. Everyone, like the Nerf footballs, the
oh yeah,
and then I saw too it was Hash Bros. I love board games, so
yeah. What's your favorite board game?
Right now I'm actually into like role playing board games.
Dope.
So there's this one called The Resistance. I don't know if you heard of it, but it basically takes place in the future. Like the society's trying to overthrow the government because it's corrupt. So you start off by like everyone gets a card, and then you see it. You don't show anyone. You close your eyes, and then only the spies open their eyes.
God, this is like an adventure type game.
Yeah,
right?
it's cool.
That's
that, and then.
RPGs and stuff we used to play back in the role playing games.
Oh
like
yeah,
Final Fantasy and
the
stuff
guns,
like that.
yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons. I'm pretty nerdy. So.
I went to Stanford, so I'm a certified geek and nerd, and I am proud of it.
So you were saying that Nike inspired you to design shoes. So you just.
Well, not necessarily Nike.
I'm sorry, Jordan.
Comic book characters, yeah. Comic books and local heroes inspired me to create gadgets, which just so happen to be shoes.
Shoes, okay. And then the steps that you took that got you noticed by them was, you said you sent letters. How was that experience? Like, did you get responses right away, or?
I got 3 responses. I got a catalog they sent me once. I got a letter from customer service acknowledging they received it and tried to, hey, we encourage you. Then I got a rejection letter because they said I was too young to get a job. So I was like 15. And then I called them. Once I figured out that their old phone number was on the back of the shoe boxes, I would call up until like I was employees relative. Yeah. And then eventually the phone calls led to them telling me about internship opportunities, and got names of recruiters, and I flew out there when I was in my freshman year of undergrad, and I took a picture of the campus and I put it on my dorm room ceiling. So every night when I went to sleep, it was the last thing I saw, and everything in the morning. I just I turned design into my sport. I played sports my entire life, but the discipline that's required to be a product designer, no one talks about. And so it wasn't that, Nike gave me a job. It was, I went and took a job from Nike. I chased it down. Yeah. No one gives us anything in life. We have to take what we need, take what we want. There are people that assist you along the way. But at the end of the day, you have to be prepared and you have to be intentional, and that's when the blessings come.
What is one piece of advice you would give to someone trying to pursue a career in the creative design market?
I would say don't follow trends. And don't rely on knowledge, rely on experience. Knowledge is someone else's experience. So if all of us are operating from the same knowledge, then it just becomes one watered down narrative and you see a bunch of copycats. I think being yourself, being called weird, being called different, is being on the cutting edge of a new trend. Create the wave, don't ride it.
Don't ride it, yeah. Be the trendsetter, huh?
Yep.
Is there anyone you look up to, and why? Besides, I guess you already mentioned Michael Jordan.
Like I said, Lucius Fox from Batman, but more importantly, I look up to my wife, to be honest with you. She has the harder job. She pursued a degree in psychology, completed that, chose to be a homemaker and raise our kids. She is my role model in terms of empathy and selflessness and just self-care. She's my best friend, and I think she's the strongest person I've ever met. Like, I just literally told her, thank you for believing in me. Because there's times when you're trying to build something and you have a vision, and no one else can see it but you, and you just that one person who tells you, keep going. Like, that little voice matters, and so I look up to my wife. Like, she's ultimately my own personal superhero.
That's awesome. That's amazing. All right, a couple fun questions. What do you enjoy doing for fun?
What I enjoy doing for fun is BMX. I ride my BMX bike still to this day. I have a Harlow Master, a 26-inch that's modified. It's like a kid bike that'll turn to like an adult bike. Our kids, we go outside and play a lot. Like, I'm just a big giant kid. So between playing the board game Clue, which is my favorite, laser tag, K1 go-karts, like, I just try to stay in the mindset of a beginner. Like, I try to look at the world like a kid, because every single day that you're alive is a blessing and it's a gift. So we have to approach each day with wonder and joy. So I try to wake up intentionally with the attitude of gratitude and try to find things that make me smile. So, like, I'm 100% the person that would rather go to like a comic book convention versus Fashion Week.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be where people are creating things. I want to be where people are trying to express themselves. That to me gives me so much joy.
That's awesome. What is your favorite genre of music?
Favorite genre of music is blended. I would say my favorite musician is John Coltrane, jazz musician.
Oh, jazz, okay.
He wrote his album "A Love Supreme" is the inspiration for Superheroic. It was his way. It was like a personal album that he was saying thank you to God for saving him. He had quit doing drugs and was going through a lot of depression, and made this album as a form of saying thank you. So this company is a form of saying thank you for allowing me to get out of the south side of Chicago, to go to Stanford, to work at Nike. So everything I do, I'm doing for an audience of one. And I love jazz music because it's improvisational, and it's there is no wrong way
to play. Yeah,
jazz.
The beats are offbeat, it's swing. Yeah,
it's all emotion.
I was in band myself for about 10 years. I played the sax for a jazz band, and then my primary instrument was the flute.
Yeah.
And then I played the clarinet, and I did a year at the University of Arizona in their band.
Yeah, so it's like jazz is just amazing. I mean, of course, hip hop. I think that's the stereotypical response. But
who in hip hop did you like?
Growing up, Nas. Nas is my favorite MC all the time. Nas is like Langston Hughes of hip hop. Like, the way he writes is like, it's like James Baldwin with a beat. And so, like, for me, I try to think about, when people look at my products, I want them to feel the same way that I felt when I heard Illmatic for the first time in April of 1994. I was like, this dude is telling my life story. He's writing down the things that I can't articulate. And every time I design something, I listen to Illmatic on repeat. Like, it's the only thing I listen to when I create, because I try to channel that energy into the product. So when you see the stuff I do, it always has sound to it. That's why packaging talks. It always has a texture, one line that has a certain fluid rhythm. That's the midsole. And then there's usually these elements that kind of just completely interrupt that flow. And that's how Nas' words are. He'll say something and it's like, oh, yo, and it gets you to think. So I don't know. I think for me, it's not just the music, it's the stories. And I love genres where stories can be told,
Okay. What is your fashion inspiration besides like the shoes that you wear,
Yeah.
What other clothing brands do you like to rock? And
I like rocking the clothing brands of all my friends.
Okay, yeah.
I support my friends and stuff. I believe that it's the biggest thing I could be is a blessing to others, and while I'm waiting on my blessings. There's a lot of things I'm hoping for, and a lot of things I want to do in my life, but I've been very fortunate to be behind the scenes and help a lot of my friends build their brands, and I'm the biggest cheerleader for everyone. I just love seeing people succeed. This is my boy Gavin's brand, Supervision.
Cool, I like it. So I was like, wait, where's that from? Let me ask him what his fashion is.
It's all put together.
Yeah, Gavin, he's the man. He's from LA. Designed with Nipsey, designed with YG. He's brilliant. And my boy Jerry. Yeah, Supervision. Jerry from Fear of God. Love supporting his stuff.
Fear of God, yeah.
Don, Don C. All the Chicago kids. Verge. I wear all my friends' brands, because I think it's important to be a fan of the people that you're connected with. I think you're never too cool to be a fan of somebody.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. That's pretty much how I got into contact with the guy I was telling you from New York. I was telling him my vision is like, I want to create something where I'm co-creating with people, like we're helping each other, because there's enough for everyone. There's no reason to hold something for yourself. Like, you should be able to share it, help other people grow while you're growing yourself, and that's something that I look for in my work, and when I work with other people, I just want to grow. I just want to do something big, and
You will.
You
You
know?
will. It's the law of reciprocity. When you put things into the universe without any expectation of getting it back, it actually manifests itself tenfold.
Yeah, it's crazy you mentioned that, because everything that's been happening to me lately is for that reason. Like, I'm just putting out all the work I need to do, and things are just coming. Like, I hit up a bunch of people, but a lot of those people don't always reply.
You know what, though? It only takes one yes to change your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Trust me, I receive no's every single day. And I tell myself a no is a delayed yes. That's all it is. And sometimes it's not them saying no. Sometimes it's the universe keeping them away from you, because they may actually disrupt your energy. It may not be what you need. So count it as a blessing when you don't get what you actually want, because it may not be what you need.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I just try to look at the positive of everything,
You have to.
you know?
You have to. And the people who don't respond back, once I got to the level of being in the room with these people, I realized that a lot of the stress, the mental stress and physical stress, the personal life, the expectations, the pressure, it makes them freeze, and they feel so overwhelmed they don't know how to respond to even the people they love, let alone someone they don't know. So sometimes they may not respond because they completely are just like overwhelmed and feel like, I don't know what to do. I felt that way, and I try to follow up when I can. There's been times I respond back like a year later to people who email me.
You get flooded with messages. You're like, oh.
Yeah, and I tell them I'm so sorry, and I'll just be honest. Like, look, man, you know, the expectation is that you get to a certain level, you have it figured out. Honestly, you don't. It becomes even more ambiguous, and the job of a person who's in front is not to be, you know, fake and pretend like they have it figured out, but to be transparent and say, I don't know. I'm just willing to keep going into ambiguous situations with no fear.
Mm-hmm.
That's success. It's not money. It's not clout. It's going into the darkness with your eyes wide open and knowing that you're going to take the one step every single day. And eventually you'll get to where you're supposed to be, but you can't be afraid of going into the unknown, because that's where you truly learn what you're made of. But keep pursuing it.
No, that's knowledge right here, man.
I've lived multiple lives, man. I've been through a lot in this industry. When I started, there was no sneaker culture, you know? It was like collecting sneakers when I started, you were a nerd for doing that.
The guy who got me into like kind of the sneaker world is, I don't know if you know him, but on Instagram his name's Franelations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like a big sneakerhead. He has like a whole freaking room, a walk-in room of just sneakers. I'm like, what?
I mean, it's the one thing that connects everybody. Like, when we go, my wife's from Colombia, so when we go and visit family down there, like, I could go to small towns, I'll go to big city, and I'll see some shoes, and I like your shoes, and we'll have a whole conversation
About
for 3
shoes.
hours. And the person I'm talking to didn't even know, like, my background. We just connect over this product, and then they'll say, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, you know, I make shoes. And they're like, wait, hold on, you did X, Y, Z, and they're like, why did you talk to me? I'm like, bro, because we're part of a tribe. Like, if you go to a record shop and you see somebody look at it like some dope vinyl, and you're like, yo, I listen to the same stuff. It doesn't matter if that person's an A&R at a big label, or if you're just a college radio DJ. You both love the same
through
thing.
that. Mm-hmm.
So that's I don't see titles or positions. I just see people's interest, and I gravitate towards people that like the things I like. That's it. And that's how you have cool experiences and meet really cool people. Like, for me, like, it's funny. I've been in the industry so long that when I hang around most of the cats that are up and coming in the streetwear, they'll know more about me and I won't have a clue. Like, and they'll just be like, bro, I thought you would be so arrogant. I'm like, nah, dog,
I focus on my work.
I focus on my work. I read mystery novels and comic books, and I chill with my kids. I go to my daughter's softball game.
Oh, that's cool.
That's it. Like,
how old are your kids?
15 and 11.
Have you seen that new
nice.
Spider-Man?
Yo, man.
Multiverse?
Yeah, Spider-Verse, yeah. So
Spider-Verse, yeah.
The dude, so there's a brother who's coming today, Miguel, who actually worked on it. He's a good friend of mine from Sony.
No
He'll be here.
way,
Yeah, he's an
awesome.
animator. Yeah, he'll be here. And stuff. And what's dope about that narrative, it was the first time they show Afro-Latinos in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And we were excited when Miles Morales was announced like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time, like, you know, our kids are Afro-Latino, and we explained to them that you could be both. There's a massive culture. Like, growing up for me, I had to choose because there was no concept of being a mixed kid.
Being mixed, yeah.
It was like, yo, you just black with like good hair. That was what everybody thought. you got good hair. It's like, all right, never mind. I'm not even gonna try to explain. But now my kids, my son's like, no, man, I'm Afro-Colombian, and it's like, it's dope because they have a culture.
Multicultural.
Yeah, they got a
like,
tribe to
that's
plug
awesome.
into.
Yeah, they know where to track it back.
I want to go to Colombia. My dad's been
Man,
there.
Colombia is so dope. So dope.
Hey, the people there are beautiful. Just
Man,
saying.
the accent, the Medellin accent.
I met a lot of them in Boston when I went. There's a lot of Colombians right there.
Yeah, big Colombian
a lot of Brazilians I met out there too.
Dominicans.
Yeah, Dominicans.
A lot of Cape Verdeans.
Crazy. I kind of wouldn't imagine myself to be working or getting the position that I got. You know,
such a
like
blessing.
it's awesome. I'm learning as I go, like you said, hands-on experience. It's funny because I try to read upon like what I'm trying to do, but a lot of what it says is like real world experience. Like school can't teach you what you're gonna have to learn.
Yeah, no. School teaches you like discipline, and how to have a routine. That's what school is set up for. Like knowledge is through experience. You really have to get out there. Like I said, I've been to some of the best schools on the planet, and I'll tell you, it did not make me smarter. It just made me more confident that my guesses would be accurate.
Be more right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you go and you're like, wait, this I already kind of was putting this together. Like I was already connecting the dots.
That's it, bro. It's just vocabulary.
And that's just reassurance. So you're just like, all right.
Yeah, because when I sat in Stanford Business School, and I'm like, all right, I'm nervous. I'm like, I'm not a business guy. These people have, done more than me. I'm like, okay, how I'm gonna hang? I know I got in. I can hang with them intellectually, but I don't have certain things. And I realized, wait, it's just vocabulary. Like we call it hustling. They call it entrepreneurship.
Vocabulary and discipline.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. And then the last piece is just the confidence, because they know they're supposed to be there, so they feel more willing to navigate the room and take advantage of it. But for me, coming from the South Side, I second guess myself in the room. Like, man, am I really supposed to be here? And am I qualified? And they walk in like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. My daddy did this, and my mama did that. And me, I'm like. So now I just move with confidence. Like, no, I'm in this room because I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And it just changes how you interact with folks.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for coming.
Yeah,
man.
thank you.
Like I said, I have fun chopping up.